Good morning, ladies. So this is
Morning.
all things fashion, and we're going to talk more about the question tree today. Just in case you haven't found them, I've added everybody to the group. Michelle, you should be added to the group. There's a form on there that has questions for bling, for spa products, and you can post those questions on your Facebook wall to help you get engagement. And then there's also stuff on there that has like a whole outline of the question tree specific to your products. Now, Origami Owl kind of has this lovely like twist and theme on your jewelry. So it's not just hanging something around your neck, your wrist, your ears. There's sentimental value or theme value, or there's some stuff like that. So you're going to want to kind of tweak that and add what I would call a question tree branch, and I'll tell you about that in just a second. Same with you, Lisa. There's stuff on there, spa products, but yours also branches into those personal care products. So yours isn't all fun and whimsical. Like I would say Perfectly Posh is just a little more whimsical. I mean, their stuff is still good and still needed, but it has a very different feel than lemongrass. And so, you know, just the way you approach things, you just got to kind of put your company's personality, I guess you could say, or mission or spin on it based on those things. So you kind of customize it and have some fun with it. Okay. All right. So what we want to do is talk about the question tree. Now the question tree is meant for, okay, it doesn't matter who you're talking to, where you're talking to them, or what form of communication. So you might be talking to them face-to-face at a booth or expo. You might be talking to them face-to-face at a home party. You might be messaging them on Facebook. You might be texting them. If you pick up the phone and actually put it to your ear, which doesn't happen very often anymore, it doesn't matter, okay? This doesn't matter if it's a repeat customer, if it's a brand new customer, if it's someone at a party, if it's someone who's commented on a post on your Facebook wall, if, what other scenarios? No, if you're talking about your product, okay, period, no matter method or when, where, this same thing works and applies, and you do it the same way, okay? It was funny. The last session we did this, you got the impression I was only trying to help you talk to people on Facebook. No, I can help you find customers on Facebook. That's one of the things I try to teach you, and just show you how a question gets more engagement than just look how great our product is. Hey, how many of you love a manicure? Okay, like those are totally different. Or what type of earring do you like to wear versus look how cool these earrings are? Those are going to get different types of engagement. Now, sorry, having a weird morning. Just so you know, and because it's not really clarified in the videos, when you're posting on Facebook, I'm not anti-post things about your product, and I call it that kind of post more of like a show and tell, okay? People need to know what you sell. So you do post those more show and tell. You won't get a lot of engagement, but people need to know that you're an expert in that and just have an idea of what you sell. So you do post some of those. So this isn't, what I teach you to do isn't to replace those things. You may need to look at how many times you're posting. You may need to look at the times a day. There's some of those kind of things you can tweak. But what we have found is when you're posting about jewelry, when you're posting about spa products, when you're posting about any sort of fashion, it doesn't matter if it's jewelry, clothes, makeup, anything, okay? You post about the product, but what gets people to actually talk to you is when you ask a question, okay? And what's cool about that, so let me just give you kind of a funny example. If any of you have friends that are with Younique, okay, they have this, they have foundation for your skin, okay? And they all did this video where they wrote like Sharpie on their face. They got like a Sharpie and they wrote on their face, and then they went and covered it up with makeup. And they all either did the video or shared one, okay? And it was kind of silly and dorky, quite frankly, but they all did it. And then for some of my gals that work with me, later we asked the question, on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is foundation to you? And oh my gosh, we had all these people, we had people get like 30 responses. And people were like, now wait a minute, like, am I trapping people? Okay. And it's like, no, they know you sell foundation. Okay. They're not going to be shocked when you go talk to them after they answer and you say, oh, foundation's important to me at a 9, or foundation's important to me at a 1, whichever it is. And what they found out is those that are like 1s or 2s, often they didn't know how to pick out a color. They didn't know how to apply it. And they were actually commenting, hoping that gal would help them figure it out. Okay. So what happens is when we ask those questions after we've posted about our product, it's like people's ways of raising their hand going, okay, Lisa, you can talk to me about that. I have wondered about chemical-free stuff. Or, okay, Michelle, I've been wanting to do this special thing. When you, let's say you did something like this, when you do a Mother's Day gift, do you like to make it practical or sentimental, or I don't know, you could have a couple different options. And those that say sentimental, you can kind of talk about what do you mean by sentimental. And, then there's a series of questions you'll go through, but then you'll get to talk about your product and see who's the perfect fit for you. And they're like, okay, I've seen you got this cute stuff, and I've seen that you do these things that are personalized. I wonder if this will be a good fit for me. So usually it's people raising their hand telling you it's okay to talk to me now, because they're not idiots, okay? They know you sell the stuff if you're a sharer about your product on your wall, okay? So it's really cool. It's not, this isn't a trick. It's not a trap. And with one of the things I'll teach you in the question tree, because you don't ever talk about product without first saying, may I share with you a little bit about what I think might be a good fit for you? We ask permission. You're never trapping anyone. Because most of the time we would see, like, if we asked, what's your makeup product you have to have on before you leave the door, and they said mascara, they'd go, oh, have you tried ours? Here's the website. You're going to love ours. So we don't jump on them like that. We get to know them a little better and ask these questions. So that's where this changes, okay? The questions on Facebook is just to find potential customers. People misunderstand all the time. I'm not teaching you to sell on Facebook. I'm teaching you to make connections on Facebook, figure out of your 300, 500, 1,000 friends, who needs lemongrass, who needs origami owl, who needs makeup, who needs, whatever the product might be that you're selling. We're just trying to figure out who might need it, who we can have a conversation with that's more genuine. Now, you guys may have never done this, but you probably had it done to you if you haven't done it. But cold message someone with, hey, I've got this product. I love it. This is what's great about it. This is how you buy it. This is how you sell it. This is here's a website. And there's like a long, awful message that gets dumped into your inbox without an ounce of that person trying to get to know you. They just want to tell you what they have to tell you. That's not my system, okay? It's much more personable, and people are thanking you and raving about you at the end, okay? So isn't that nice? There's not that pushy, yucky, salesy feeling, because we make sure we care more about people than we care about the sell, and it's a win-win situation. It like totally comes back around and works out, and you increase your sales, okay? So remember, the Facebook posts are to find people, and we're going to keep asking them questions. And this question tree will teach you how to do that. But the question tree, it doesn't matter if you're following up with someone who bought one item or bought a bunch of items or who wants to book a party or anything, okay? The question tree is used for everybody. All right, so the question tree, this is how this baby works. If someone's commented on Facebook about a question you posed, okay, something simple like, if you can only throw on one item of jewelry as you're running out the door, is it going to be earrings, necklace, or bracelet, or ring? Okay, what is your one item going to be? And so they comment. Okay, let's say they say earrings. I would say earrings. Okay, I have everything. I love everything, but I'd probably go to earrings. And you say, that is so fun. I am earrings girl too. Then we're going to go to a private message. Okay. And in the private message, you're going to say, I just love that you are an earring girl too. Could I ask you, okay, this is the first bridge. May I ask you a little bit about what type of earrings you like to wear? People love to talk about themselves. And they're like, you're going to ask me about my bling and my fashion style? Okay. And some will be just a little bit cautious, and that's okay. But we really want to know so that if there's something they don't have, we can make a suggestion. If they have everything they need, we're not going to make any suggestions. Okay? So we start there, and we say, so, and they say, yeah, sure, you can ask me a little bit about what earrings I wear. So just ask them. So I'm just curious, how many days a week do you normally put on earrings or any jewelry? And they'll tell you. You go, okay, cool. So are you like the simple kind of the rhinestone kind of simple stud kind of girl? Or do you like dinglies or hoops? What's your go-to earrings? Or do you like a variety? And then they answer you. What kind of colors do you wear? Where do you wear jewelry? Where do you wear earrings? Do you have, what kind of sensitivities do you have? What other special circumstances are you considering? You know, so like, if you know they're a young mom or a mom with young children, they don't have to be a young mom, someone with young children, you know, is that an issue you're working around kids, you know, pulling on earrings? You can get to know them and their earring and jewelry makeup, sorry, not getting my words out well this morning. You want to find out their jewelry wearing habits or their spa treatment self-care habits or their makeup habits, okay? That's what we're trying to find out. So you can ask, what's the jewelry you last broke that you wore all the time? Or what's the new outfit you've bought for spring that you want something fun to match? Or how often do you usually buy new jewelry and add to your collection? Okay, so then we start looking for some needs. But what I have found is really fun is we go through and we talk about their earrings, which usually I have some on. I don't this morning. You know, we talk about earrings, and then we go, okay, how fun. So can I ask you a little bit about what you like to wear in necklaces? And we want to make it fun and put cute little emojis and just like, we're just having girl time. Like if you can imagine you're sitting there with your girlfriend talking about fun bling or talking about, you know, how it feels to get your spa treatment or how it feels to get some new lipstick you feel just beautiful wearing, okay? You want to make it feel like that. We're just having fun talking about being a girl, okay? So then you can ask a little bit about their necklaces. What lengths? Do they ever wear multiple necklaces or layer? And I've sold jewelry, so that's why I can have these conversations. And then you want to talk about, like on a scale of 1 to 10, how fun is it to have a customized or a piece of jewelry that has some sentimental value in it, okay? It's really fun and how different everyone is. I still remember, because it's a horrible example, but when my grandmother passed away, my mom's the oldest daughter, and her younger sister called and asked, do you want mom's wedding ring? And she's like, no, I don't really care. Like, my mom, like, has no sentimental bones in her body, okay? Like, she doesn't put any attachment to things like that. Where somebody else, my daughter has an origami necklace, and it has all the little gems in it, and they all represent goals she has, and so her goals are close to her heart. Like, I would think it would be so fun to sell origami owl, but I love my job, so I'm not going to. But there's so many fun things you can do with that company to really talk about and bring out the sentimental value and how tender you could make the little pieces that go in there. Because I love her little gold necklace. I just absolutely love her gold necklace. But I love goal setting, so I'm a little weird. But the same thing with somebody who takes time to take care of themselves. How does it feel to just have your feet soft and feeling good? How does it feel to know that you're using chemical free products with your children? So we just want to find out their needs, what's important to them. Somebody is not going to care about emotional value. Somebody really doesn't care about chemical free. Somebody may just want it to smell good. Okay, so you have to remember that you have your reasons for selling origami owl. You have your reasons for selling lemongrass. It doesn't matter what your company is, you have your reasons. And what you're normally taught is tell them why you love it. I am telling you that is the wrong advice. The goal is to find out why they need it, and then you tell them the perks of the product based on what they want, not on why you like it. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Because, Lisa, you're probably I haven't met someone with lemongrass yet who wasn't passionate about the fact that it was chemical free. Okay. Right. And you're going to have that person who loves Bath and Body Works because they just love the smell. They could care less if it's chemical free, right? And they're just going to love your scent. And so when you're talking about chemical free stuff, especially if someone really doesn't care, they're going to feel a guilt trip put on them. Mm-hmm. So it's easy to find out. You just ask, on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is it to you that you know it's chemical free? Or whatever your politically correct term for that is, because you all have different ways of saying it. Some say organic, some say natural, some whatever your word is, okay? Mm-hmm. On a scale of 1 to 10. So if they say 7, 8, 9, 10, you talk about it a lot. If they say 1, 2, 3, you talk about how it feels after you use it, mm-hmm. Okay?
Right.
So same thing with the jewelry. Is it more just because it's cute, or is it more because there's something personalized about it? Which way are they going? And that's going to determine how you talk about their product too, your origami owl, okay? Now, what's cool is, so you take one branch. Remember I said, we talked about the earrings, and then we're going to say, hey, can I ask you a little bit more about what other jewelry you wear? So then you would ask about necklaces, you'd ask about bracelets, you'd ask about other products that you carry. Now, if you're Stella and Dot, they also have bags and scarves. So you would add that branch. Most of the time when I'm talking about spa treatments, Lisa, I'm talking about, feet and hands and facials and those kind of things. But then you guys have stuff for your hair and makeup. So you got to add those branches in based on what your product has as a specialty. Okay. And I haven't looked at a catalog for a while, Michelle, so there's probably a branch I'm not thinking about mentioning that you consciously know, ooh, but we have this thing Michelle hasn't talked about yet, okay?
Sure.
Just add that branch, okay? Like, I don't have the time to sell all your products. I can tell the foundation, and then you guys tweak it and make it really smart, okay? So you go through all those branches. Now, this is the important thing to remember, which is harder than heck when you start doing this. They will talk about something and you'll go, I have the perfect product for them. And you'll be so excited. You just want to sell vomit so bad you can hardly stand it. Okay. But you can't until you ask about all the branches, because at the end, you're going to give them this beautiful you're going to tell them about 3 to 4 products at once. And when there's 3 to 4 to 5 products they could want or need, a couple things happen. The likelihood of making a sale goes sky high, okay? Mm-hmm. Versus if they only want one thing, they're less likely to get it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's a shipping issue or they just don't see enough value. The other thing is, if you have a list, I call it a wish list. I don't tell them I'm making a wish list for them. It's just I know if I'm creating and helping them come up with a wish list, that then I have a much better chance of getting them to host a party. Okay? The more stuff they want, the more likely they will be to want something for free. So you've got to ask about the earrings, then the necklaces, and you just say in between, oh my gosh, that's so fun. Okay, so I have to ask you another question. Tell me about bracelets. Or, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you told me that. Okay, so let me ask you another question. And you don't talk about the product until you go through all the branches, okay? And I'm telling you, you're probably going to get a bloody tongue having to bite your tongue not to tell them, because you will see their needs because you're asking such better questions instead of talking at them. And so they'll get talking about a necklace they want for their mom, or they'll get talking about how much they need this thing. Like, let's say their child has some sort of skin issue and you know it can help. I mean, you can't hardly breathe. You want to tell them about it so badly, okay? So, like, be conscious of that. Michelle said this will happen because you will know what the product to tell them about instead of trying to tell them about your whole company, hoping one of those things will click with them. It's really cool because it feels so much different because you're telling them exactly about what they need instead of doing this broad overview, okay? So when you get through all those branches, then we're going to ask another bridge question. And we say, so would it be okay, or may I share just a couple quick ideas with you that I think you might find, you can then decide if it's a good fit for you. And when they send back that message, because a lot of times you're texting or messaging, and they go, absolutely, you've been a really good listener, and they really like you now, and they are ready to hear about what you have to share with them, and you're probably going to close this deal, okay? So if you can be patient, and this takes practice, and you'll do it wrong a couple times, or you'll get to 2 branches and then you'll sell vomit again, or you'll, like, it happens. It just takes some practice, and you go back and watch the video again, and you'll be like, oh my gosh, Michelle told me not to do that. Okay, it's no big deal. Like, this all takes practice, but you'll get it. Okay, like, it's so cool. So just hang in there, keep at it, because it's going to be outside your comfort zone. So we go through the questions and we ask, so could I tell you about a couple things that you might find are a good fit for you? Or I say, can I tell you about a couple things that other people, not myself, other people who had your same situation, your same concerns, your same needs, and they're like, absolutely, or sure, exclamation mark, or please do. That is the greatest feeling, okay? Because then versus, they said something about bracelets, and you go, oh my gosh, have you seen ours? It has this and this and this and this and this. And they're just like, you don't know if they wanted to hear about it, but you saw a crack in the door, and everybody's told you, if you hear they wear jewelry, if you hear they go get spa treatments, talk about your product. No, just ask permission first, okay? So you ask the permission, and they'll say yes 90% of the time. Most of the time, the only reason they say no is because either all their needs are covered, or they got to go, they're busy, or I don't know. I really don't hear anybody say no, but I'm sure there will be one day, okay? And so then these are your little keywords. Because you mentioned, because you said this was a concern, because you mentioned this is something you've been fighting with, because you said you love wearing blank earrings, okay? So you say what they said in the almost exact same words they say it. You might like this. You might find this solves the problem. You might find that you think this is really fun to wear. Your mom might really like this, okay? So then you tell them about 3, 4, 5 products based on what they said and match it to what one of your products is. So then you have this whole lineup of products, okay? Then you can just ask them, hey, which one of those is a good fit for you right now? So you put it right back into their court, and now they're feeling empowered because you only talked about things they needed, okay? And what's so cool about that, especially Lisa, you have a really broad line, right? Lemongrass is just got a lot of different avenues, okay? Origami Owl is different in the fact that they're all going to have a charm or called a pendant that you put the charms in.
A locket.
A locket. Forgive me, I'm like, that's not the right word. There's always going to be a locket and there's always going to be some sort of charm. But figuring out the theme or figuring out how they want to wear it, that's where you're trying to get it so you can talk about it that it makes them the most excited. Okay? So that's what you're going for with your different product lines, is how to make it personal for them and how to make them the most excited. And it's not, you're focusing on them, okay? That's what's so cool about it. You'll find sometimes you never will have talked about your most favorite product. They don't care what your favorite product is. They care if you have something that will now be their favorite product, okay? And that's what's so important to remember, because that's just not what's being taught out there. Focus on the other person and what they need, okay? So then you ask which is a good fit. Let them talk about what they, based on the things you told them. Let them tell you what they're excited about. And then you go, okay, here's 2 ways to get it. You can either say you could buy a couple products, or here's a way to get a discount. Maybe you have like a kit or a buy 2 get 1 free, or I don't know. And then they say, well, I don't want to spend that much money. No problem. You know what? We could either get some stuff now and you could have a party, or we could try to get it all either discounted or for free. What are your thoughts? And this is what's key. Instead of asking things like, so do you want to have a party, yes or no? What are your thoughts on having a party? Or on a scale of 1 to 10, how interested are you getting some stuff for free? What we're trying to do is get the conversation going, and we don't put them on a spot with a yes, no, until we get kind of an idea where they're at. So like, well, a party, does that mean at home, or does that mean online, or does that mean here? So that way you can find out what their concerns are before they just say no, okay? So asking them, what are your thoughts on getting some stuff for free and having a party? Well, how would I do that? And Michelle, I don't know, I think, Lisa, you do a lot online.
Yes, I do.
Instead of face-to-face because of the hearing issue, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's all those things, then you give them the options that you provide, because you each give different options, okay? Mm-hmm. The whole thing is give options instead of do you wanna, okay? Right. If you want to, then you're more likely to get a no, okay? It's a yes or a yes option. They still know no is an option out here, but the more yes options you give, the much higher your closing rate goes, okay? Mm-hmm. So this is the question tree, and you'll have it's on the website. You can print it off, and then you have them all written out for your product. So remember, you're going to start talking about the first product that was brought up, or the other thing that you're asking about is, hey, I'm so excited that you bought some products at Susie's party, or last month when we chatted on Facebook, or wherever it was. I'm just curious if I could take a quick minute and see how your products are working for you. Okay, so that's the bridge question. So then you ask them about, we'll go through it again. You ask them about their products. How did it work? How are they liking it? Now, y'all know about 50% of the time, sometimes they haven't even got it out of the box. Now, that's usually like my products are, especially my makeup, the jewelry, they probably ripped out of the box. Norwex, Unique, there's some products that if they're new and they know they have to figure out how to use, they don't rip out of the box very fast. So it's a little bit different. But knowing the interesting thing is when they finally get those couple of products, especially if they only bought one or two things, they fell in love with them. What we can do when we call or message and follow up is then we go through the question tree with them, and they might buy a heap load more now. Okay. So we ask permission to ask about the product they purchased, and then we go through the question tree. And you may think that's bizarre to go through the question tree with someone who's already purchased, but it was so funny. I had this makeup girl, and she's like, I finally used the question tree on one of my clients. She said I had sold her stuff for her eyes, for her lips. I had sold her tons of product. I finally slowed down the question tree and found out that the biggest concern this gal had was dark circles under her eyes. That's the only thing I hadn't sold her, was stuff to take care of the dark circles under her eyes. So just realize that up to this point, you've probably been kind of doing more of a show and tell method of selling. When you slow down and ask these questions, the chances of you selling more to someone who's already bought is really, really high. Because when they've bought once for you, they're 50% more likely to buy from you than someone who's never bought from you. Okay? And now you ask better questions and take better care of them, you're going to get repeat sales. Okay? So still, you go through the question tree, ask permission to ask questions about the different branches, then they tell you their needs, then ask, may I share with you a couple ideas I have for you? Because you said blank, 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 you tell them the different products you'd suggest, which one of those is a good fit, then you do an optional close. Okay? So you can go check, 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 check. You can check it off every time and see that you've done it thoroughly. Okay? And you can't, the more of the steps that you do, the higher your sales will be and the higher your closing rate. So even though you can take pieces of this and it will improve things, I promise you if you do it from top to bottom, it works really, really well. And often we see people double their sales per client by doing this. Okay? I mean, very, very often, if you do it all the way through, top to bottom, and do it consistently, most often you double your sales per client. Okay? On average, not every person. You'll have some, you know, if you've averaged $30 to $50 a client, I see people go up to 100 to 150 a client. So it's fun. It's really, really fun. So then you're kind of using your time more wisely. If you're going to talk to one client, you might as well sell more to them to talk to 3 clients with small orders. Okay? So let me turn it back to you. Michelle, how do you see this working with Origami Al, and were there like any kind of light bulb moments that you had?
Honestly, I love it. I've actually tried asking more questions rather than just putting the product out there that I think they might enjoy. And I've gotten a better response. And so with you, you know, explaining that process, I think it's going to work in my benefit for sure. Awesome.
So what kind of added questions have you been using?
Well, and I didn't know it was I didn't know it was a thing. You know, I didn't know that's what people did. You know, I just thought like, oh, this is really cute. This is one of my favorite things. Maybe you would like this too. But when I would ask people personal questions of more about what they're looking for, I would get more of a response, you know, from those people, and they're more willing to share and open up a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's definitely more of a personal touch. And I didn't know that was the way to go about it.
So you just had a gut for you must be a good listener and interested in people, which a lot of salespeople are interested in getting sales. And
yeah, it's not. Yeah, and that's what my company is not really about too. You know, we're all about paying it forward and being a force for good. So that's who I really want to be.
Cool. Yeah. So if you got enough through the goal setting video, did you get to the motivational styles yet?
No, it might have been just starting.
Okay. So you'll laugh because you'll be like, oh, I'm changed the world, and so's Origami Owl.
Okay.
The interesting thing about that, on a side note, is you have to be able to talk the person's language that wants to make money and wants a title.
Right.
Because they'll do some good sales for you. So there's two different types of personalities, but they're both important. Like, it's not one's good and one's bad at all. It's just the way you set your goals. It's like, oh, I want to help 10 people this month, get some, really something personalized for Valentine's Day, like pretending it wasn't tomorrow, right? Whereas another person's like, I want to do 600 in sales and earn this trip or whatever, like the same amount of sales, but the way they say it is really, really important. So the interesting thing is you'll be able to recruit more, not only going on that change the world style, which honestly you'll recruit half as many if you don't learn to talk both languages. You don't have to relate to that person who likes money and titles. You just have to be able to talk about what's important to them.
Right. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
Got a little bonus recruiting, info there. But you'll get a kick out of it. It'll be fun. Alrighty. Okay, cool. So, but the systematic approach you'll have, because you're already doing it, and you'll see how, and the asking permission questions you will love, because it'll make you feel really authentic, and nobody will feel like you're being pushy at all. It's really cool.
Great.
Awesome. So, Lisa, how are you feeling about the tree? Oh, sorry, I muted you. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm actually loving it. I have a party going on right now that my best friend wants to join, and we started the party a little sooner than what I planned. I mean, I put everything on, and it was a snow day, so she's like, hey, I wonder who's on. I said, okay, well, let's just have fun. But I went about, and I was doing a lot, and I've had the most interaction on that party. It looks like a book now, and I'm like, if anybody joins the party, they're going to have a lot of reading to do if they wanted to. And I'm like, oh, wow, and they're still having fun, and I've already got orders on the party, and the party doesn't close till the 28th because we're keeping it open to try to get to earn a kit. So it definitely, since we've talked, I've only, this is the first party, and I'm impressed with.
Awesome.
So,
what questions did you add to it?
Oh, well, when I welcomed everybody that had already been on that day, because she's getting more people joining the party, I would welcome them, kind of chat a little, and then what products, what are you interested in learning more about? So I kind of opened that door. And then a lot of people were saying, oh, my children have eczema, or I want, my skin is so dry. So it became like an open conversation between kind of all the ladies, and all the ladies just kept asking and asking questions. And I was asking questions, but they were asking probably more than I was, because I wasn't in there going, oh, wow, here's this product. You got to buy this. I just wanted to hear what they wanted.
Cool. So in a party, what you can do is systematically go through your product line and ask them, what do you normally use for your feet?
Right.
Or how often do you like to get a manicure? Or on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is it to your hair products are chemical free? Or what 3 makeup products do you normally apply on a daily basis? So when you post things about product, you post kind of a broad question about that product, and then so keep asking those broad questions with categories.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Okay. Yes.
In fact, you can just follow the question tree. You want to ask a question about each branch in the party.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does.
See how that would work, Michelle?
Yes.
It works really well. Like, we have some people like really kicking it with parties. I haven't really done a lot of classes about it. And then there's another way to start the parties. Anyway, it's part of the bigger training that we offer, but it's cool. It works. And take off and do private messages with the people that are interacting in the group. Okay. And go through the whole question tree.
Okay.
Okay. So well done. Well done. It's awesome. It feels good to have them talking.
Okay. Now, the other thing is that wrong, because it started off with a lot of games, because, you know, and the games turn into questions. So we have a lot of different games that you can play, but it brings products in, but in a fun way. So I found that with all these different games that we're playing, came up questions about products. So is that a wrong approach? Or I didn't plan on it being that way. It's just that because we weren't really technically supposed to start the party yet, I was like, well, let's just play some games. And then they were having so much fun that we just continued to play some games that day and got to know them.
So I'm not opposed to games, but I'm not a game person. I'm very straightforward.
Okay.
I'm very like, I only have so much time. I don't want a game. Let me just, you know, find out what
Right.
I'm boring. I won't even go to a baby shower. I hate games. I hate games. But I'm not normal for a girl. A lot of women like some games.
Okay.
My way of making it personal, and you'll learn this a little more next week, is in the I call it an initial touch. So if you watch the texting video, I'm all about like caring about what other people are into and their needs. So what I do is at the beginning of the parties, I'm like, okay, this is my family, and hey, I want to know what your family looks like, and you know, you post a picture, tell us how many kids or furry babies you have at your house, you know. And then I go, oh my gosh, I have to tell you about one of my hobbies. I love to crochet, and here are all my funny little scarves I love to crochet. What's something about you? And so I try to get to know them. That's more of my way of doing that instead of games. And then when you message them, you have that initial touch thing. Oh my gosh, your two little girls are so cute, and I love that you love to cook. How fun. What's the last thing you cooked? And so you use that initial touch to get a conversation going without like going right in for the product. And people like to talk about themselves. They like when you care about them as people. It gains trust. And they're more likely to talk to you about product. So it's not a trick, okay? If you want to know more about it, you just go listen to or read the oldie but goodie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Care about people in your life, and they're more likely to buy from you just because you gain trust. It's not a trick. Some will still say no, and you go, no problem, and you still tell them happy birthday, and you know, you'll get a referral out of them. Okay, so because sales classes are taught like they're almost tricks to get people to sell, when I teach this, people think, oh, we're trying to trap them. No. You're actually just trying to be a nicer person. Okay? You like the person who takes the time to get to know us as people. And it's also about how you take a no. When they say no and you go, I totally understand, no problem. Then you're still friends and it doesn't get weird. Okay? All right. So my next group is going to be coming on. Be sure and join me next week. Okay? And get the videos all watched and let me know what questions you have.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Michelle.
Bye-bye.